And making his way for his debut fight here in camo is fighting out of the blue corner, Colton Newmarch. The Orthodox fighter is fighting out of Rancho Cordova, fighting for Fight Core MMA. And Brandon, I'd like to get your viewpoint on a debut fighter. Both of these fighters in this lightweight bout, this is their first match. What was the sort of nerves and thoughts that you had before you had your first amateur match?
I tell you what, there's really nothing like it. And I tell people, I say, a man can deliver a baby, but he can never tell you what it's like, okay? So there's really nothing like being in there. And there's nothing like the experience. These guys it's their first fight. They're both from tough camps. Okay, Fight Core MMA, got Sean Sharkey. All those boys are tough. You got Isaiah Perales coming out of Combat Fitness. It's another tough Bay Area camp. One thing that these guys always have is heart and grit. Usually you don't see a huge, great display of talent with these guys' first fights. Not saying that they don't have it, but usually, like you said, nerves, you get that adrenaline rush, you know, when you're walking out for the first time in front of your fans and your friends and your family. It adds a little bit of pressure, especially opening up the card. Being the first ones out there to open up the show adds even a little bit more pressure. So I expect to see fast-paced action from the very beginning. These guys usually don't waste any time getting to know each other and start banging right off the bat, Brian. And
so for these two fight camps, Fight Core and Combat Fitness, when your opponent doesn't have footage on them, they haven't had an amateur bout, how do you make a game plan for your fighter? Do you just tailor to their strengths that they have?
You know, that comes down to just, you know, kind of with these first, you know, guys, or, you know, 1 or 2 fight guys, and there's not a lot of tape out there. What you got to really do as a camp is just work on solidifying your guy's basics.
Right.
His fight, you know, we want him to stick to his basics. You know, usually you get a little general information. Oh, he's a couple inches shorter. He's a couple inches taller. You just kind of have to take that basic assessment and try to work your best game plan around that. You really can't worry too much about what the opponent's going to do. You really just got to worry about what you're going to do in there, and just go out there and try to perform your best for your first outing.
And I imagine the in-round coaching would be the times to implement sort of game plan changes between round 1 and 2.
Exactly, Brian. So what happens is you're going to have to kind of fight on the fly. Usually when you have experienced guys that have a lot of footage out there, you can formulate a game plan before you step in there. But this game plan is going to have to develop as you're in the fight. You're not sure what this guy really likes to do, what his strengths and weaknesses are. So you're out there kind of, it's very vulnerable at first. And that's often why guys, you know, sometimes they just take off because it's such an unknown that they just kind of let the intensity get the best of them. And that's why people really like those you know, debuters, because they know there's not going to be a lot of posturing, and there's going to be a lot of pounding, but a very little posturing. So, you know, we're expecting to see that, but you never know. You know, you might have guys in here that have experience. Like I said, these camps have been around a long time. They might have composed amateurs. These guys might have done smokers, unsanctioned events, or sanctioned in-house events. They might have more experience than their record shows.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, you really, like they don't know until they get in there. We don't know until they get in there, Brian.
Yeah, and Newmarch, only 22 years of age. His nickname is Siren, looking to make some noise in his debut match here for Bay Area Combat North Bay Face-Off here at the Napa Valley Expo in Napa, California. And
looks like, yeah, they're finishing. I don't know if there's an equipment issue over there. Sometimes it takes a while. Looks like there's some kind of issue.
We have a camera shot with maybe one of his...
the toenails are too long. See? The old slice him in the eye with the long toenail trick. He tried it. That's a veteran move right there, Brian, but they caught him. They caught him at the door.
Maybe we should change his nickname to the Velociraptor, trying to dig those claws.
He's trying to slash and rip his way to victory tonight.
But after a quick pedicure for Colton Newmarch, he's in the ring and ready to fight out of the blue corner. And his opponent is coming down to the ring right now, Isaiah Perales. Like Brandon mentioned, fighting out of Combat Fitness, Rapacone Martial Arts, from American King in California. 1 year older than Colton Newmarch at 23 years old. Also a debut fight for the fighter out of the red corner.
You know what? I just realized that I trained this kid back in 2012 in Muay Thai for several years. Oh my God, this is Isaiah. I didn't know this is the same kid. This is amazing. Now this kid, I trained him for a couple years, but you know, he lives in a rough area, and the streets kind of started to creep up into his life, and I wasn't sure what happened to him. And you know, I'm really glad to see he found a good camp. He looks great. He was probably 30 pounds heavier last time I saw him. He looks great. This kid's a banger. Okay, now that I know who we're looking at here, this kid, I used to call him the zombie kid, because you hit him as hard as you can and he grins and he keeps coming forward. So now I'm interested to see here, because this kid, like we were talking about, has more experience than an 0-0 record.
Right.
He trained Muay Thai specifically for several years. This was back in 2012. I know he took a couple years off. Obviously, he's been training MMA. So, you know, you got in a, you know, kind of a situation here where, you know, the 0-0 records might not represent that they're that fresh in the sport. So I'm excited to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, you mentioned the humanistic kind of story behind this fighter, Perales. In my research, I saw some of the things that you mentioned about the streets maybe taking over his life a little bit, but that's the beauty of MMA and what this can channel your focus into and maybe change your life around. And hopefully this is the start of that for Perales fighting.
Absolutely, and that's why I said I'm so glad. You know, you're exactly right, Brian. I'm so glad to see him in here. This sport I've seen change a lot of lives. I've seen guys in here that really don't have any direction or drive, and they find a sport that challenges them and makes them become a better person in order to become a better, you know, fighter, athlete, warrior, and that's why I'm just extremely surprised. I didn't even recognize him at weigh-ins. That's how much the kid has changed. Wow. So this is going to be an interesting fight here. I know how tough he is, and we'll see if he can keep his composure in there on this first fight. Again, no matter, like I said, there's nothing like doing it. So even though he does have a little experience under his belt as far as Muay Thai is concerned, you know, once you're in there and that cage pin drops and locks, it's a different story.
All right, let's send it over to Jim Cooley with the announcements.
Of mixed martial arts action in the lightweight division. Third man in the cage when the action begins, the Kane Vandal. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, hailing from Sacramento, California. He represents Fightcore MMA, and he weighed in at 155 pounds even. Tonight, he makes his mixed martial arts debut, Colton Siren Newmarch. His opponent, across the cage in the red corner, makes his home in Vallejo, California. He also weighed in at 155 pounds. He represents Combat Fitness and Rapicon Martial Arts. Tonight, he also makes his mixed martial arts debut, the Sexy Ninja, Isaiah Perales.
So the Sexy Ninja,
I didn't really,
you didn't give him that moniker?
He's changed a lot since, obviously.
What was the other one, the zombie?
I called him the Zombie Kid. But we'll see how he fights right now. If he's a ninja now, I'm interested to see. He's a lot sleeker than he was when I saw him last. So
yeah, maybe that elusiveness.
Yeah, maybe he got a little speed there. All right, we'll see.
We're getting set for 3 2-minute rounds here in Napa, California. Isaiah Perales and Colton Newmarch getting ready.
Yeah, and amateurs, you know, they only do 2-minute rounds for the guys that are newer to the sport here.
Newmarch pressuring early, pinning Perales against the cage. Perales probably looking for an underhook, but going for the single leg is Newmarch.
Oh, he
Great balance by Perales.
He didn't waste any time going for that takedown. Didn't want to strike.
Still going for that single leg. Now transitioning to a double leg is Newmarch.
He's fighting it well, though. He's fighting it well, I have to say. Looks like
maybe going for Kimura.
Yeah, maybe.
And they're sprawling on the ground.
Get on top.
And it looks like Perales going with some hammer fists to Newmarch, who is still pinning Perales up against the cage.
And Perales kind of holding on that far side underhook.
Now, how quickly do these 2-minute rounds go for a fighter?
They're really quick, and also you know the judges only get 2 minutes to score a fight, so you got to get as many points in as you can. There's really no time for feeling it out, you know. Oh, hey, there's that Muay Thai experience coming out right now with Perales.
Feeling very comfortable taking the center of the cage as Newmarch again tries to shoot him for a takedown, but again stuffed by Perales.
He doesn't want anything to do with the striking. Oh, you can tell he's already feeling it. Yeah. He wants nothing to do with the stand-up of Perales.
Again, single leg, but Perales ends up on top. We'll see how much more Newmarch can last.
No, it doesn't have it that deep.
Great camera shot as Newmarch went for that armbar attempt.
He's going high guard here. He's just trying to control his posture, but Perales is going to, you know what? Let's step back and let's get back on the feet. He liked how it was going there, so he's going to bring it back there. Obviously, Newmarch wants nothing to do with him on the feet, so why not take it back to where his strength is?
And approaching 10 seconds left in this first round. Perales putting the pressure on Newmarch. Great kick
Newmarch
to the body.
Hurt. He's hurt. Again, he doesn't want it anymore. You could tell he's backing up. He's looking like...
Can he survive this first round?
Oh, man, he barely survived.
He is
and
down
I think the ref called the fight.
So
the ref called the fight with the last strike of the match right there.
At the buzzer, the sexy ninja puts down Colton Newmarch in the first round via knockout.
I tell you what, you know, I think that's a square TKO. Like I told you, 10 seconds left, man. Newmarch wanted nothing left. I could tell about a minute left in the round that he was hurt. I think it was the body kick. I can't be sure. He got hit with a couple good shots, but those body kicks, they were slapping. You could hear them. You can see the redness on the side of Newmarch. I don't think he was ready for that kind of striking, and that's why he was so desperate for the takedown. And once he couldn't get it, really, there wasn't much left for him to do.
Yeah, you can see the game plan for Newmarch just goes straight in to those takedown attempts, and with him being tired out and not having all the energy behind those takedowns, Perales able to block those and really focus in on that Muay Thai striking that he had.
Yeah.
Those right kicks really did damage to Newmarch throughout the match, and he gets his first career amateur victory here in Napa.
Very nice. Yeah, it's great to see this kid come from where he's come from, you know, training hard and then kind of falling off for a couple of years to martial arts, and I know this feels great for Isaiah here tonight.
So Isaiah Perales will leave here with his first career victory. Colton Newmarch, very game in his first career amateur fight, but is going to come up on the short end here. We'll send it to Jim Cooley with the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, at exactly 2 minutes of round number 1, referee Kane Vandal has called a stop to this contest. Your winner, via technical knockout, the sexy ninja, Isaiah Perales.
So leaving with his hand held high is Isaiah Perales. Brandon, final thoughts on this opening bout?
Well, you know, like I said, you could see the composure from the years of Muay Thai experience that Perales had. He's done several smokers. So, you know, like we were talking about before the fight, you know, you're not sure what you got until it's in there. And, you know, I saw a lot of composure. You know what else I saw that was a surprise was great takedown defense. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of guys who want to go out there and stand and bang. And then, you know, they'll lose a fight because they're on their back the whole fight, and then they'll complain. Well, listen, if you want to stand and bang in MMA, you better get some takedown defense, or else it's not going to happen against a better wrestler, you know? So that's the game. If you want to stand and bang, we'll let Jim.
We'll send it to Jim Cooley once again for this next fight, Misael Lara and Alberto Martinez Mendez.